You are an inspiring leader, coach, facilitator, and a person who is really passionate about what you are really doing. So my question is, how you found your career path? What's the story? Yes.
It's messy. I didn't find my career path for the first, 13 years of my life, in my work life.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in jobs I was good at, but I didn't really feel like it was a good fit for who I was or my purpose. So those were useful experiences, but I just kept trying something different, trying something new, and almost by accident,
mm-hmm.
because I was open to trying new things, I found I was really good at facilitating workshops,
mm-hmm.
and that I was entertaining. So I started doing it just kind of part-time on the side, outside of work, or else in work, doing
mm-hmm.
some things where I could do that, and realized that's really where I was a good match. So it's just experiments, fail forward. I honestly was so surprised when I finally found my right livelihood.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really great. So we hope that many people will try and experiment, and in this way they will find their path. I really hope that many people have such an attitude, but it's not really like that, in fact, in reality.
It's hard. Well, it's helpful if you have a mentor,
mm-hmm.
or coach, or other people who inspire you. I had what I call a thinking partner, and we would meet every Sunday for 1
mm-hmm.
hour,
mm-hmm.
and we would talk about our dreams.
Wow.
And it was crazy, and there was no evidence that it was possible when we were talking about it. But after a year of talking about our dreams and writing down our big crazy dreams, interesting opportunities started to become visible to me. And
wow.
that's when I started
Amazing.
taking advantage of new possibilities. So you have to keep hope alive.
Perfect.
Yes.
And one question. Have you ever done Clifton Strengths Finder? The test that is connected with talents?
No, I didn't do the Strengths Finder. I know that test, though.
Uh-huh.
I heard it's very useful. There's lots of, strengths tests, and that's a very famous one, but I haven't done it.
If you could think about your top 5 talents, what would you say? What are your top 5 talents?
Well, for me, I think my biggest talent is my energy,
mm-hmm.
and the way that becomes useful is I have a really strong commitment to purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So a meaning that matters, something that's important that I care about. So putting my energy into that purpose with great integrity, and also with discipline. Maybe the number one most critical thing for successful outcomes, successful results, is the discipline to do what I know needs to be done, whether I feel like it or not. So maybe that's a good combination, right? Energy, purpose, meaning, integrity, and discipline.
Oh, yes. Sounds great.
Yeah.
It's not kind of boring, discipline isn't fun. It means you have to early Saturday morning after having a big party Friday night and be ready for the Skype call.
I know that you are very focused on leadership. That's right? And
yes.
I'd like to about your definition of leadership and agile leadership.
Well, for me, leadership is about setting a direction, mm-hmm. and then motivating and inspiring people to go in that direction willingly, and aligning all of their efforts on that critical few
mm-hmm.
of important things that we all have in our lives. And providing resources to them, encouragement, inspiration, and removing obstacles, and getting them to keep going when they want to give up, and helping them celebrate when they reach success. That it's all about, there's a clear direction. Let's
mm-hmm.
go in that direction together, remove obstacles, provide resources, and cheer them on.
Yes, it sounds nice. And when I'm hearing you, I feel your energy. And I think that it's necessary to encourage people to get their goals, yes, and achieve their goals.
Yeah, we have to attract them like a magnet, not push.
Mm-hmm. And how to do that?
Well, one of the tricks is to find out what the people are passionate about. Ask them, what do you want? Where do you want to go? What's your big crazy dream for the future? And then get out there leading them in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I think that is the most difficult thing. What I want to do. Yes, how we can find out what we want.
Yeah, I think it is a random walk a little bit. We have to know ourselves. Know what kind of person am I? What are my strengths? The Strengths Finder is a great tool, for that. And what are my natural talents? And then what do I care about more than being comfortable? That's a great question to ask people. What do you care about more than your comfort? That you're willing to be uncomfortable to achieve. And then another thing that I found that's very practical is just make a list of 100 qualities and characteristics of your ideal work environment. Put it into an Excel spreadsheet. Everything that you would like to have happen, when you go into work, where's your desk? How do your coworkers behave? What kind of tasks are you doing? To try to get a clear and vivid image of the environment that you're going to be working in, the pace of work, the hours, the kind of tasks you might be doing. I think that one of the reasons it's very hard to achieve our career goals is we don't have career goals.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. So so after this conversation, we'll prepare this list.
100, even what you're wearing, what you're eating for lunch.
Even that.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Challenge accepted.
Please, I will look forward to receiving your list.
All right, we'll do it for sure. All right, so what's the difference between the manager and a true leader?
Well, I think anybody who's worked in the business world feels the difference. Leadership doesn't require position in an organization chart. It doesn't require a title on a business card. It's leadership is acting like a leader, communicating like a leader, and thinking like a leader to achieve the greater good. There's something that's a purpose bigger than ourselves, something that's a mission that matters on behalf of the team and the organization, not our own personal selfish best interests.
Yes, that's
correct. Managers are very important. So I don't want to say management isn't important. Management is important. Planning, organizing, controlling, correcting, those are really critical skills. And they are less impact than leadership. So we need both. And I say like this: lead first, manage second. Lead people, manage tasks. Lead people, manage cows. So managed.
Yeah.
You can manage a schedule, you can manage a budget, you can manage risks, but lead people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
That's true. All right, and is leadership something that you are born with, or it's something that can be learned?
I personally think we have a very narrow definition of natural leader. It looks very Western, very classic John Wayne, kind of bold, charging up the hill, full of force and directing people.
Yeah.
I think that is just a stereotype, and it's not very useful. There's all kinds of leaders. There's all kinds of ways to be a leader, and I personally think that you can learn to be a leader. There's a lot of evidence from Barry Posner and Jim Kouz's work on the Leadership Challenge, very famous book based on millions of data points in over 100 countries over the last 30 years, where they found there's 30 behaviors. There's 30 behaviors that the best leaders in the world do. And if you just do those behaviors more frequently, people will think you're a better leader. You don't have to feel like it.
It's a simple idea.
It's very simple, and some of the behaviors are ridiculously simple, like asking for feedback on how my behavior impacts my team, or making sure the goals are clear, or celebrating accomplishments. Very simple behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them, I would say all of them, do not require position or title or even money.
Okay.
Correct.
Nice.
And how to become a master in leadership? How to master this skill or...
Oh, that's a lifelong journey. I call leadership the endless journey because I think we're human beings, and every day we get up, we have another chance to disappoint ourselves. And I think the secret is just keep going every day, have a purpose beyond profit, have a mission that matters more than your comfort, bigger than ourselves, and every day get up and do some courageous, bold act in service of that. And you know, some days you just don't do it because you have a bad day. But I think that next day you get up and keep going.
Hmm.
The most important thing, if you really want to be a master of leadership, is to have the chicken story, right? Fall because of gravity. I released it. There's always gravity, but if I blame gravity, I'm a helpless victim. So I choose to hold on to the chicken and blame myself if it falls.
Okay.
Wow, I will remember that. Yeah, and I know that you also provide executive coaching. So I'm curious if all executives are leaders, or and what is the most important while working with them? It's quite a special group, I would say, isn't it?
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm very cynical. I don't find many leaders in executives. I mean, I've worked with many executives, people at high levels in organizations over the years. You get rewarded for being a manager, a good business manager, delivering profit, revenues, results. I don't know. Leadership is dangerous. If you're a great leader, some days you're a hero and you'll be celebrated, and some days you'll be punished for it. So they don't always make it to the executive ranks. I think executives have a really difficult job. Having to deliver the financial results distracts them from leading effectively.
Okay.
So let's now focus a little bit on change. Because it happens so frequently nowadays in business world, in private lives, every aspect.
Claudia is change manager now, so it's connected maybe this question about
Yes. So how great leaders lead their people through change?
Well, you know, the best leaders lead by example. You know, the way the world works now, it's a lot different than last century. Last century, economic cycles were slow. Occasionally, there were some surprises. But then our lifetimes, our careers, were shorter than the economic cycles. So, you know, we might get caught in one or two difficult economic cycles. But now that the world is changing so fast and the economic cycles are quick, and there's disruption and change, and global competition. Even inside of a country, you can still be facing global competition external. So I think we have to be really flexible, thinking about how are we going to survive in this very crazy world. We cannot have an expectation to create an organization, to climb the corporate ladder, a position, and to retire. That's not going to happen. We'll have to change our jobs many times. We'll have to change our company structure many times. We may have to go out of business and create a new company. You know, I live in Silicon Valley. It's all about change. Companies born and die.
Yes.
Companies have been around for many years, suddenly disappear. Nokia had 60% market share. 6 years later, it was zero.
Yeah.
So we have to be very flexible, and that's the agile leadership, is don't define ourselves by our job or our company. Define ourselves by who we are, our values, and what we can contribute. And we have to accept that sometimes the best thing for our organization is for some of us to move to a new organization or to shut down this company and start 5 new ones. That's the Silicon Valley approach.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it became something really, let's say, normal in nowadays. It's
Well,
normal.
right now, if you meet somebody and I say, "Oh, what's happening with you?" They say, "Oh, I lost my job. Oh, I'm unemployed." I say, "No.
Mhm.
You are in job transition. That's very normal." Or better yet, you're a consultant in between jobs, right? You do consulting. We have to have a new language for our identity, for our professional identity. Not I'm my job, or I'm a vice president, or I'm a CEO. No, this is the kind of person I am, contributing in different environments. And honestly, I don't think having one job for our whole life is going to be normal in the future. You know, my husband retired after 36 years with the same company.
Wow.
Wow.
I think many people will be doing that. Oh, you know what we say when we talk about this in Silicon Valley? We say, "Welcome to Silicon Valley, where the relationships last longer than the company." Network and your relationships and your network and your reputation, or what kind of person you are, what kind of leader you are, that's what's important for your future career.
So I would say that currently this networking is quite crucial, right?
That's right. It's crucial to create a network, to be mutually benefiting each other, to support other people when they're in transition. I know many people here, when they're in job transition, they can pick up the phone and talk to many of their colleagues, go to lunch, have a walk and talk, because those colleagues know next year it will be them. It will be them asking for help. And so it really is a humbling experience to realize that we have no job security.
Yeah.
Well, we can have career security, you know, if we continue to make ourselves valuable and mutually cooperate with other people in this ecosystem, you know, for our career, so that we can get the next job. You know, if you act like a jerk in this job, who wants to work with you next time?
Okay, it's very nice. I think.
Correct. I think that it's becoming more and more popular in Poland. I would say that right now it's at the very early stage, but I really hope that it will be very popular and natural also here.
Yeah, and I think the Project Management Institute is perfectly positioned to support that.
Yes.
Because this is project-based work.
Correct.
This is work that doesn't last forever. And so we need to have a project management attitude about our work.
Yeah, correct. All right. So another question that I would like to ask. There is a famous saying that in good times, people will listen to a boss, and in difficult times, people will listen to a leader. Do you agree? And how leaders deal in difficult situations, in conflicts, or even in crisis? How would you describe it?
Well, I think that in good times, people will listen to a boss if they really need a job. But in good times, they can also quit and find another job. So I don't agree that people really want to listen to a boss. But a leader, I think it's much more important to have leadership during times of crisis, because that's when a leader can remind people of the true purpose of why they're working together. You know, you have to create a meaning that's more important than the crisis. So, you know, this is an old example, but you go back to in the 1960s when people were trying to go to the moon. And there were many crises and impossible things, but especially when Apollo 13 astronauts were stuck out there in outer space, the person who was leading the team said, "This is going to be our finest hour." And, you know, failure is not an option. Now, normally I say fail forward, but in that case, failure wasn't an option. And he said, "We're going to find a way, or we're going to make one. We're not giving these guys." To keep going and keep hope alive.
Nice.
It's quite difficult, I would say. Simple but difficult.
I'm sure that guy, in his quiet moments alone, was scared, was worried. But when he was in front of his team, he gave them an unrealistically optimistic view of what they could achieve. And that is one of the secrets of achieving breakthroughs, is to help people believe in an unrealistically optimistic version of the future.
Yeah, yes. Sounds very great. Yes.
It's so dangerous. If you cannot bear disappointment, it's very dangerous.
And who's your father figure in terms of leadership? Which person do you perceive as a great leader in business world?
In the business world,
Yes.
you know, I really like the guy who founded ING Direct Bank. It's been sold now to Capital One. But I remember seeing a picture of him standing on the top of his Harley motorcycle in his office, and I really liked the spirit that he created in the ING Bank. I was a customer. I always felt that it was kind of friendly and warm and welcoming and intimate. And he didn't distance himself from the people. He was accessible. So I didn't work there, but I always admired him from the outside as being a humble leader with a combination of competence and warmth. I think that's the secret, because a lot of great executives have great competence, but where's the warmth? Where people feel like you're a human being, that they could really sit down and have a talk with you over a cup of tea.
Yes.
That's correct. And last but not least, what's your words of wisdom for people who would like to become leaders?
I think just like every good pilot on an airplane, we need a checklist. And we need the discipline to use it, especially when we don't have time. When I get on an airplane, the pilot always does the checklist. Even if we're running late, the pilot never says, oh, we're running late, we don't have time for the checklist. That's what a professional pilot does. And I think as leaders, we need our checklist. And for me, I have a simple checklist. Build trust, make sure communication is effective, make sure goals are clear and priorities are aligned. How do I do that? I stop, think, organize, and plan before I go. Asking big why, big who, big what, before big how. It's a really simple checklist, but when I get into a high-pressure situation, my brain has to remind me, stop, think, organize, plan. Panic kills.
Correct.
Plan, and then keep going, especially when you feel like there's no hope and you don't see progress. Many things don't show any signs of progress until suddenly there's a breakthrough. So you have to keep going at least 2 weeks after you want to give up.
Thank you very much, Kimberly.